iPhone 10th anniversary, which iPhone was best for investors? Like connoisseurs of fine wines or fancy sports cars, fans of the iPhone have their favorites among the 10 models Apple has released so far. On Wall Street, investors prefer the experience of some iPhones over others, based not on design or features but on financial impact. Over the years, some models have helped drive sales growth more, sent more dollars to the bottom line or, most important of all for investors, sent the stock price flying. There are some clear differences of opinion and some obvious areas of agreement between fans of the iPhone and investors, however. One of the most obvious common loves is the October 2011 release of the iPhone 4S. The boxy phone corrected the antenna problem of its predecessor, which may have been overhyped but did impact phone call connections, while retaining the new, sharper retina screen. It also kept one of the favorite shapes for holding the phone and using it as a camera.
On Wall Street, in the run-up to the release, Apple's stock price gained 28% over 6 months, according to data from Bernstein research analyst Tony Sakarembong. The stock fell 3% the day of the release, but over the 6 months after the 4S release, the stock gained another 36%, for a one-year total return of 59%. That's a great annual return for any investor, although it was only the second best in the economic period.
Get Data Sheet, Fortune's technology newsletter. Another common view, but in a more negative light, might be around the fairly recent release of the iPhone 6s. The rounded corner model looked much like the year before's iPhone 6, which had introduced larger screen sizes. The big new feature touted by Apple, called 3D Touch, was the ability to call up special menus by pushing down hard on the screen. Though occasionally useful, the touch menus could be confusing and developers were slow to add the feature to their apps. It wasn't exactly a flop, but Apple experienced its first ever quarterly year-over-year decline in iPhone sales after the SIXS hit the market. Apple's shares lost 5% in the run-up, were nearly unchanged on the day of release, and then lost 11% in the following 6 months, for a total return of -15%, the second worst performance of any model. Fans of the iPhone and investors would probably have different opinions of the worst handset, however. By the numbers, the worst total return on Apple stock came from the September 2012 release of the iPhone 5. The 6th generation model was considerably thinner and lighter than previous models and had a 4-inch screen, up from 3.5 inches, giving users lots to like. Apple's stock gained 11% in the 6 months before the release, including hitting a record of $705.07, $100.72 adjusted for a later stock split, and rose 1% on the day of release. But the model wasn't as profitable as earlier versions, and the stock price fell 43% over the ensuing 6 months. The total return for the 12 months of -36% was the worst of any iPhone. Apple's APL, plus 0.95%, best iPhone is likely a unanimous verdict, however, and that would be the very first version released. The iconic device revolutionized smartphone design and utility in a gorgeous package. Rampant rumors of the phone helped drive Apple stock up 50% in the 6 months before, 8% on the date of release, and 35% over the next 6 months, according to Sakarembong's data. The 119% total return is the best of any model.